It is certainly the most comprehensive bulletin in the country. My name is Wilson Mburu.
And I'm Nancy Kachingira. Our sign language interpreter is Meresha Owiti. Now, leaders from northeastern Kenya are now saying that they indeed know the identities of the youth who have fallen victim to religious radicalization in the country.
Once more, they say they will reveal their identities to the authorities. The northeastern leaders have also made a controversial demand from the government in order to ensure security in the country.
Edith Kimani has the details.
Another list of shame is in the making, but this time it has nothing to do with graft. Leaders drawn from the wider northeastern region say they are compiling a list that could be instrumental in the fight against terror in the country.
And we will, with immediate effect, commence to identify them, to document them, and to expose all the members, the financiers, and sympathizers of Al-Shabaab within the next 1 month.
It is yet uncertain how this list will be compiled or whether authorities have access to the names, but across the borders, Kenya is reigning supreme from the skies. Kenyan fighter jets reportedly bombed 2 Al-Shabaab camps in Somalia's Gedo region, a crucial victory for the KDF as the camps were previously used by militants to cross into Kenya. The northeastern leaders, however, want more.
We demand the immediate closure and orderly relocation of all refugee camps in northeastern province.
According to the UNHCR, the number of refugees in Kenyan camps from Somalia alone now stands at just over 462,000. The huge number of refugees, coupled with agreements Kenya has made, including a tripartite agreement of 2013 that requires repatriation of refugees to be on a voluntary basis, may make this an almost impossible demand to meet. In the meantime, however, burial arrangements for the 148 who died in the Garissa University siege are underway. The northeastern leaders have promised to make this process financially easier on the affected. This is in addition to the government's pledge from Deputy President William Ruto yesterday to take care of all funeral arrangements and costs incurred as a result of the siege. Funeral arrangements that have to be made as the country holds its breath once more for yet another list. Edith Kimani, KTN.
That brings us to a big question tonight, and we are asking, are you satisfied with the actions of northeastern leaders so far in the fight against terror? Are you satisfied with the actions of northeastern leaders so far in the fight against terror?
Yes, they now say that they will be able to compile a list of those youth that have been radicalized, as well as the financiers of terror. Well, let us know your thoughts on whether you think that they're doing enough, and you can do that by tweeting us at KTN News KE, at Kachingira, and at Wilson_Mburu, or send an SMS to 22155. Start with a yes or a no when you do that, and of course later on we'll tell you what the polls are saying. Also to remind you that we do have that conversation coming up with Garissa Governor Nadeef Jama in just a little bit, so stick around.
Now, moving on, 79 bodies of victims who died in the Garissa University College attack have been identified, and pathologists this morning began post-mortem exams on bodies that have already been identified. Now, as KTN's Rita Tinina reports, it is double tragedy for some affected families whose anguish is prolonged by the delay in identifying their dead.
Robert Ocheng from Ugenya, Siaya County, waits at the Chiromo funeral parlor, not sure what to do next. It's been over 70 hours since he began the search for his firstborn son, Tony Opio, a third-year student at the Garissa University College.
Nikaenda Kenyatta, tukaambiwa tukuje hapa Chiromo. Tukarudi hapa Chiromo, tukaangalia hakuna. Wakatuambia sasa kesho Saturday twende wapi? Nyayo. Nyayo tulienda tukakaa, tukaangalia list, tukakosa tena, tukarudi hapa, tukamkosa. Sasa tukarudi tena Nyayo, tukakaa mpaka saa 6 ya usiku.
On Sunday, he came close to identifying the body of his son.
Tukaingia Chiromo mshari, tukaangalia, tukakuta mwingine tulikuwa na suspect ni yeye, lakini sura huwezi kufahamu. Mpaka mguu yake tuliangalia ilikuwa karibia na yeye, lakini kuna alama nyingine alikuwa nayo kwa mguu. na hiyo alama ni hatukuiona. Sasa bado tunasiji kutafuta.
A similar story is shared by the family of business management second year student Rispa Kasioka.
Tukaangalia mili, tuka-identify mmoja, lakini tukakuta iko identified na somebody else. Kwa hivyo tukaambiwa tuje leo kwa hii fingerprints. Wakati wamefanya fingerprints tukajua yeye si wa wetu, ni wa mtu mwingine. Kwa hivyo sasa tunangoja.
Families that managed to identify the bodies of their loved ones gathered in groups at the Chiromo funeral parlor, contemplating their next move. Councillors were at hand to console families as volunteers offered them something to eat. The family of second-year student Selifa Wanda managed to identify her body on Sunday. As they wait for a post-mortem exam to be conducted, they remember the times they shared with Selifa, whom they described as a jovial girl. Isadia Muyale goes through the day's newspaper, reading stories of the attack on the university where he has been studying for the past 2 years, as he narrates his lucky escape.
Tulisikia na tukatoka mbio tu hata bila kuchukua slippers. Ndivyo tu ndo tulitoka kwenda tukaruka fence tukaenda hadi kwa baraka ya wanajeshi.
He is here with the family of 24-year-old Newton Karani, his village mate and best friend of many years. They went to secondary school at the Friends School Gahumbwa in Vihiga together. Karani's family managed to identify his body. And as they make burial arrangements for Muyale, university will not be the same again without his best friend Newton.
Kabla ni join huko Garissa University, sikuwa na barua. Niendo alienda kunichukulia barua huko ndo akaniletea. Sasa ni huzuni sana sababu ni kama ndugu yangu. Nimepoteza ndugu yangu kabisa.
For Fanis Nyangule, life too will never be the same again. She lost her fourth-born son, 29-year-old administration police officer Peter Masinde.
Huyo mtoto ndio tegemeo langu. Alikuwa akinisaidia. Mzee wake baba yake ni mgonjwa. Mimi ndio niko mzima peke yangu. Kwa hivyo sina tegemeo wengine.
Masinde had on Thursday been assigned to guard the Garissa University College. His family sits here waiting for a post-mortem exam on his body. At least 10 pathologists are conducting post-mortem examinations on bodies that have been positively identified.
Last night we had the National Bureau of Registration going through the fingerprints, matching them the entire night to make sure that scientifically we determined the identity of those bodies.
The involvement of fingerprinting experts from the CID's Scenes of Crime officers and the National Registration Bureau is expected to enable families that have not yet identified the bodies of their loved ones due to their mutilated and decomposed state to do so. Rita Tinina, KTN.
A very difficult and uncertain time for those families. Just to remind you, the Red Cross is still in need of donations of milk, bread and water to feed some of those families who are waiting at Chiromo, and you can go ahead and make your donation there or send a contribution to 858585 on both M-Pesa and Airtel Money. Now, staying with these stories, in Uasin Gishu County, a father cannot bear the loss of his son, the family's only hope for a better future. Philip Sawe sacrificed his all to pay for his son's education. And the Garissa terror attack not only claimed a young man's life, but also a whole family's aspirations.
In his initial plans, Mzee Sawe wanted to see his compound filled with family and friends during his son's graduation party. But as fate would have it, the gathering at his home in Kapkong village is for another reason altogether, to prepare for that son's burial.
Risasi ilipita hapa na ikatokea huku na akapigwa tena kwa hii throat hapa hivi.
Relatives break down in tears to news too heavy to bear. It's a bigger loss for his father. He doesn't have much, but the little he has was almost entirely invested in his son's education, in the hope that 4 years later, the family would reap the fruits.
Nilikuwa na paskili yangu hapa Kila mtu anajua pile nilikuwa mimi nasonguka kutafuta hata chakula ya kukula, mahindi hakuna. Hata mimi naenda naye barua, mawe ilikuwa mimi nikichimba mawe, mimi nauza kidogo. Sasa ilikuwa nategemea hiyo kijana.
Nimemaliza shule, ilikuwa ameenda university, mimi napita site nyingine. Ilikuwa iko nyingine kidogo ameingia form 1, ilikuwa mimi napita site. Sasa hakuna kitu ya kulipia tena.
Friends and relatives condone with the family as they hold on to memories, the constant reminder of shattered dreams.
Na ilikuwa amenieleza nikipata pesa ile ya kwanza hii atasomesha dada yake. Sasa hiyo ilipika tu siku hiyo, atapata mimi na sikia uchungu sababu hakuna mwenye tasaidia tena hii ingine hii kidogo hii na hiyo ingine alimaliza juzi.
Every so often, his mother goes into a trance, lost in thought. Her 21-year-old son was to visit next month. Neighbors gather to help in planning for a burial for a loss of one who went too soon. Masikandie, KTN, Kapkong Village, Uasin Gishu County.
Now, the plan to decongest Nairobi City by replacing the roundabouts with signalized junctions has kicked off. Several roundabouts have been rechanneled, allowing only right-hand turns in what the county government says streamlines the flow of traffic. Sharon Momanyi now reports.
If you're a motorist in Nairobi, this is a sight that awaits you when you get back from the Easter holidays. 5 roundabouts along the Uhuru Highway closed in a move by the Nairobi County government to decongest the city. Now, a bit of confusion is expected as motorists are supposed to use alternative routes. But as the county government says, it is all for the good of the city. The decongestion initiative, done in partnership with the Ministry of Transport, will see the roundabouts in Westlands, Waiyaki Way, Kenyatta Avenue, Bunyala and Lusaka roads, all off the busy Uhuru Highway, affected.
75% of the vehicles that will be processed on this road will either be wanting to go towards the airport Mombasa Road or towards Kangemi Westlands area. So we've decided to enable movement for the greatest number of people who are being processed on this road by closing the right turning movement and ensuring that you cannot create a conflict for the vehicles that would otherwise be wanting to just get on with their journey across.
Motorists heading to Mombasa Road from Langata Road will have to turn left at the Nyayo Stadium roundabout and go all the way to Bunyala Road roundabout, where they can make a U-turn by driving in the innermost lane. Similarly, motorists heading to Westlands from Town and Raptor Road will have to proceed on to Brookside Drive, where they will make a U-turn before accessing Westlands. But where are pedestrians left in all this?
There's a very huge demand for pedestrian crossing here on this roundabout on your way towards town for the guys who are going up to Upper Hill. So we are adjusting the traffic signals. I think that's what we do tomorrow to also ensure that the pedestrians are also taken care of.
The long-term plan is to have signalized intersections in place of the roundabouts, a plan that is expected to improve flow by about 30 to 40%.
We are doing this temporarily to ensure there is that continuous movement. Ultimately, what we want to do is achieve, we want to remove the roundabouts and replace them with signalized junctions. What those junctions do is to ensure that at any given time you have simultaneous movement. If whoever is going towards Mombasa Road doesn't affect the guy who's going towards town, why would any of them stand at any given time? Because they are going to 2 different directions.
But Tuesday stands to be the initial taste of how the changes will improve traffic flow in the city as business goes back to usual. Sharon Momanyi, KTN.
Did you see that overloaded car in that footage?
And let me tell you, tomorrow is going to be interesting. Let me just say that. It's going to be very interesting on the roads, especially on Mombasa Road, because I have seen those no right turn signs.
Well, hopefully it'll be a case of suffer now, but enjoy it later.
So this solves a traffic problem in the city.
Right, now, when James Mayaka and Evelyn Kerubo met in the year 2004, they became good friends.
Now, the two school teachers who met in Nyamira town later on fell in love and tied the knot.
But things changed in the year 2007 when Kerubo was carried away by the winds of an illicit affair.
And as KTN's Fred Muturi now reports, her actions led to an unprecedented court ruling.
It was a unique ruling where a woman has been ordered to refund money spent on her education, dowry as well as other expenses offered to her parents. The Kisii High Court Judge Crispin Nangila made the historical ruling after Mayaka's secondary school teacher petitioned the court to end his marriage to Kerubo, whom he alleges left him and got married to a witch doctor as a ninth wife. Justice Nangila directed Kerubo to pay the petitioner 205,000 shillings in total and ruled that the Nyamira Children's Court to determine who will have custody of their two children. When we visited Mayaka at his Mosobeti village in Nyamira, he looked relieved by the court case, but he wasn't comfortable about the well-being of his children.
Actually, I'm happy with the court ruling. It is giving me some relief after spending on advocates. It is very expensive. I have some relief. The only issue now is custody of the children.
Mayaka accused his wife of adultery, cruelty and desertion, where she left their Mosobeti home to stay with the second respondent at Drajambili in Kisii town. He argued that Kerubo's actions subjected the family to torture and mental anguish.
I tried to contact the family members from maternal side. Actually, what they suggested, they told me to leave this red alone. I get custody of the children. Those are the most important people.
The court tabled the money as 60,000 shillings for the 3 cows Mayaka had paid as dowry. The cows were valued at 20,000 shillings each. Another 60,000 had been given to her parents in cash and 85,000 shillings in college fees.
Because when she went to college, she conceived still while she was in college. So she came, delivered the firstborn on that 1st October 2002. Then 2003 January she went back, left Benson with me 2 months old. So I took care of Benson. During the day my mother used to take care, and at night I stay with Benson. So those particular years up to 2004, taking care of a child of 2 months, it was quite hectic.
Mayaka married Kerubo in the year 2004 under the Marriage Act Cap 150 of the laws of Kenya, but when she left, he was prompted to seek for divorce. The court also ordered Kerubo to pay interest and cost of the suit.
After the issuance of the warrants of arrest, she was not satisfied. Again, she made another application. The application was dismissed on the ground that the lawyer he had did not have practicing certificate.
But in a joint defense, Mosetti and Kerubo denied they were married, saying the dowry Mayaka was claiming back had not been paid and her parents had not consented to their union.
We would be told quite a lot of stories about her. When the husband was complaining to us, we told him to take time because the lady could be young and we thought she'd mature with the time.
Mayaka's elder brother said that the bride price was paid before Kerubo could go to college, since they were bound by the Kisii customs to do so.
Wakimira, unajua, kabla hujalipa, msichana ukimsomeza ataweza kukuacha hapa aende. Na tena hakuna kitu ambao utaweza kufanya. Lakini sasa ikiwa umemlipia mali, utaweza kumfuata na tena inajulikana huyu ni mtu ambaye amelipiwa mali. Sasa hawezi kukutoroka.
In the Kisii culture, it has never happened because usually once you are married, in Kisii there is no divorce. If a woman became stubborn, she would just be given some portion of land and she would stay there. So there is no occasion in Kisii where dowry is returned. It never used to happen.
His wife abandoned him with the children for 3 years before she took them away. A case was filed at the Nyamira court in the year 2009 where Kerubo was given temporary custody of the children. But when she delayed to follow up the case, Mayaka applied for its dismissal, maintaining that his wife should not be granted custody of the children.
It's serious. It means them. And I feel their studies, they are seriously going to be affected.
The judge said he found proved cruelty within all parameters, adding that Mayaka had shown that he had paid fees and upkeep for Kerubo while she was training as a P1 teacher. Fred Muturi, KTN, Kisii.
After the conclusion of the Meru Safari Rally over the Easter weekend, focus will now shift to the Kajiado Rally as the contest for the national title deepens. Hassan Juma reports.
Tapio Lekanen had caused anxiety on the last day of the KCB Safari Rally as he enjoyed a 5 minutes lead. The overall winner, Jasprit Chate, in his Mitsubishi Lancer version 10, had to use all the tricks in the book to maneuver through the toughest two final stages. Chate beat Ian Duncan by 13 seconds, one of the smallest margins in the championship's history.
I did not to focus on the position and just keep it clean and get back clean. I mean, get to the end.
Ian Duncan feels the muddy conditions in Meru County made the race even more competitive and interesting for the fans.
Yeah, it was good routes, quite muddy in places, fast in other places. So yeah, we enjoyed.
Four-time winner Carl Tundo was third on the podium after suffering 2 punctures. Other big names who missed out on the podium finish included Quentin Michel in the Sol Skoda S2000, Tajvi Rai in a Mitsubishi Lancer version 10, Jasmine Chana and Raji Barji.
The rally's been a normal, tough safari rally. The mud made it very interesting. We had problems yesterday that set us back a bit to, unfortunately, stop us for winning.
The hundreds of fans who braved the wet weather feel the rally lived up to its top billing as one of the toughest rallies in the world.
Hii kitu yenyewe imenibamba, imeshika sana. Naona kila mtu amefurahia, hata watoto, juu ni kitu mpya hapa kwetu na iko sawa kabisa.
With the Meru Rally title in the bag, all eyes will now be on the Kisumu-based Jasprit Chate to see how he navigates through the next hurdle. Kajiado and Kitengela, with Carl Tundo and Ian Duncan looking to wrestle the title from him. Hassan Juma, KTN Sports.
And moving on, national volleyball champions Kenya Pipeline's hopes of a maiden appearance at the World Club Championships were halted by Egyptian side Ahly, who emerged winners of the just concluded Africa Club Championships held in Cairo. Kenya national volleyball champions Pipeline put up a good show that saw them reach the Africa Club Championships finals in Cairo. They took the final against crowd favorites Ahly. Despite Pipeline looking sharp on the attack at the beginning of the match, Ahly's quick attacks were too powerful for the Kenyan queens. Janet Wanja, Ruth Chemgetich and Triza Atuka's efforts were too weak for the Egyptian side that bagged the 7th title in a convincing 3-1 win. In football, while Gor Mahia was away on continental assignment, Western Stima and Bandari took advantage of their absence to knock the league defending champions from the top league spot. Western Stima is perched at the Kenya Premier League summit with 12 points after 5 rounds of matches. Coastal side Bandari is second. The Dockers are 2 points adrift of Western Stima and a point above the Green Army, who are perched third. Gor Mahia, who jetted into the country today, have 2 matches in hand and will wrestle back the pace-setters tag with a win. Mathare United lie fourth, putting their dismal show last season to dine with the big boys of the league. FC Leopards wrap up the top 5 teams of the top-tier league. And less than 500 days ahead of the 2016 Olympics in Brazil, Rio has a big environmental problem to tackle in relationship to the deeply polluted waters of Guanabara Bay, where the sailing competition will take place. The venue is nowhere close to being cleaned up yet. Seen from a distance, Guanabara Bay offers a postcard image of Rio de Janeiro. But up close, the 2016 Olympics host city has some dirt to hide. Rio's waters are actually a smelly dumping ground for all kinds of waste. Biologists like Mario Moscaletti have been demanding a cleanup for years.
Close to $2 billion have gone towards fighting pollution over the past 20 years, and Rio and its neighbors treat nearly half the water that ends up in the bay. But the situation remains critical. A simple boat or helicopter trip suggests the extent of the damage. 70% of the city's sewage continues to pour into the bay.
Quando você tem dinheiro e o dinheiro.
It's a crime to have money and use it this badly. The cleanup program of Guanabara Bay is a clear example of the impunity of bad politicians and bad public officials.
Mau administrador público.
Authorities originally promised the waters would be 100% clean for the Olympics. Then they scaled back to 80%. Now they admit even that goal may be out of reach. Still, Rio 2016 organizers remain optimistic.
A Baía de Guanabara
Guanabara Bay is being treated. We will host a new test event in August. And in the meantime, I'm confident that the bay and its waters will be ready to receive athletes from all around the world.
A Bahia e as suas águas.
Last year, a first sporting event was touted as success, but some athletes told a different story.
Experience on the water. I saw a big wooden chair on the water. I mean, that's not ideal, I think, and I hope that they are going to improve, not only for the Olympic Games, to improve the water quality, also for the long term.
A few months ago, a superbacteria resistant to antibiotics was found very close to where Olympic sailors will take to the water. Many worry that the competition may be unsafe, but organizers insist Guanabara Bay will be the location.
And Floyd Mayweather's epic bout with Manny Pacquiao on May 2nd will help make the American fighter's 2015 earnings shatter the all-time record for a sportsman annual pay. Mayweather is likely to earn at least $150 million, while Pacquiao is set to pocket more than $100 million for the welterweight world title showdown in Las Vegas.
Big disgrace, somebody better.
There's no stopping the boxing world from talking about the highly anticipated and publicized bout between undefeated American boxer Floyd Mayweather and 8th division world champion Manny Pacquiao. Both boxers are going back to basics to sharpen their skills. Pacquiao has been taking a break from the gym for some strength training in the mountainous Philippines. With Mayweather looking to top all the sports earnings, workout is in progress. Mayweather's haul is set to represent the highest yearly earnings ever by an athlete, surpassing Tiger Woods' inflation-adjusted record of $125 million in 2008. Various personalities, including the legendary Muhammad Ali, have not shied away from pledging their allegiance. Ali is backing Manny Pacquiao to win the bout, while the highest boxer on the list of top earners, Mike Tyson, is also throwing his weight behind Pacquiao.
Think about the two fighters, and the people that gave Pacquiao the most difficult time in his career, only the people that threw over 100 punches around. Bradley, Marquez. Floyd doesn't throw nowhere near 100 punches around.
Tyson's support for Manny has been sharply criticized by Mayweather Sr.
That's the only place in the world you see this kind of stuff that people hate. They hate on you. Bad.
Yeah.
British professional boxer David Hay, on the other hand, believes Mayweather will reign supreme come May 2nd.
Mayweather's never lost before. Mayweather has never put himself in a position where he could lose. But then again, Pacquiao has lost. You know, he's been knocked out 3 times. He's been outpointed before. He knows how to lose. He's also been knocked out.
Mayweather and Pacquiao fight was anticipated for more than 5 years, and it will be a fight between the men considered the best pound-for-pound fighters of their generation.
The number for both Airtel Money and M-Pesa is 858585, and please make your way to the Kencom bus terminals and donate blood. This is going to go a long way in saving the lives of very many people. My name is Wilson Buru. Again, as Nancy Kachungira said, have a traffic-free Tuesday if you're in Nairobi. Good night.